All right. Hey, Q Brothers here.
Small Flower TV.
What up? We are here today to talk about one of our most
brother's worst problems, and sometimes mine. Maybe once a year I get a bad
probably 90% of Americans at some point in their life.
Yeah.
That's back pain. Ow. Yeah. You probably, if you're watching this past this point, it means you probably have some interest. You've experienced it. You do experience it. You maybe are worried about experiencing it, whatever.
Yeah.
But we all have had it, most of us, I would say, and it sucks pretty much.
It does.
That's a nice way to say it.
Yeah, so you wonder what these things come from. So there's a couple different things. You can get a herniated disc. You have degenerative discs. You can have an injury. You could have some muscle or muscle issue, muscle tissue, muscle pain, sprains, things like that. Other things would be like an arthritis situation. Pregnancy can cause really bad back.
A lot of things. But I would say also one, and we didn't bring this book up here, but we should also address it, is that I think emotions and stress are probably one of the biggest causes of back pain. And people always say like, no, but my pain's real. My doctor looked and saw a herniated disc or there's a bulging disc. And the answer is yes, you do have that. But it doesn't mean that that's not something bigger behind it, because from what I can tell, the research that we've done and I've talked about is that if you took 100 people with back pain and 100 people without back pain, and then looked and did scans of their spines and the bulging and the herniated disc and the pinched nerves, you wouldn't be able to tell by looking at those things which people had the pain and which people didn't. They all have it. We all have it. We all have gravity affect us. We've all been bashed around a little bit, knocked our heads, fallen off bikes when we were kids, whatever your thing is. So keep that in mind. So there are all these causes, but let's talk about solutions, because we're not here to diagnose you and solve your emotional issues as much as we'd like to, but
that was myself first. But no, there are a couple. Well, what I really wanted to focus on was two really simple, affordable things you could do easily.
That we notice. We've got a lot of customers that help them.
Yeah. So the first one. Why don't you talk about this thing?
Yeah, I'm sitting on one right now in my chair. But this is something that's new to us, and it's called the Back Joy. It's sort of an orthotic, they say, for sitting. And I got it because I sit at a computer. When I'm not doing these, sitting in front of the camera, I'm usually sitting in front of a computer or talking on the phone or doing something else.
Regardless, a lot of sitting. A
lot of sitting, way too much sitting. And I've been doing that in front of a computer since 1992, perhaps, in college. So it's been about 20 years that I've spent way too much time sitting down in front of a computer. And I've been hurting. So we got this product in from one of our suppliers. It's a back orthotic. You can carry it around with you, sit in your chair. And I have to say, I'm not going to say it's cured all my back pain, but I do like it. It does feel like it eases up.
If you're going to be for hours sitting at a time, it seems like why not put your spine in the best situation.
And what they say is it kind of engages the core muscles, so that you don't slouch and get in that like, I haven't moved my back muscles for 3 hours kind of thing, and then you get sort of that, that stiffness and the weakening of other muscles. So this is something we've been selling a lot and have had good feedback.
Right?
Yeah, that's the idea. Yeah. It sort of enforces. Right now, I'm obviously leaning down in this chair to do this video because we're not in our normal spot today because of some construction. But basically, the idea is that it helps create a little more of a curve in your back when you're sitting at a computer sitting. So that's one thing, Back Joy. We'll link it up below. We'll also link up that book I'm talking about, which is Sarno's Healing Back Pain, which I know my wife has used, and I have a bunch of friends who they swear after reading that book their back pain spontaneously disappeared. We saw it. I'm a big believer in it.
Cool.
Last one is
the other thing is kytta-salbe. Kytta-salbe has been huge the past couple of years for us.
Yeah, it's a product. It's a comfrey salve from Germany.
It's a comfrey extract ointment.
Salbe means salve in German.
Yeah.
And it is this comfrey salve. You know what? It had been sitting on our shelf, and we've been recommending it a little bit, selling it for decades.
Germans kind of knew it from back home.
Basically, a double-blind, placebo-controlled study appeared on WebMD maybe 3 or 4 years ago. We'll link it up below. And now we cannot keep this stuff on the shelf.
Yeah.
And it requires us, our whole staff, it calls us to reevaluate it and use it. And I have to say, it works. Just today, I had a chiropractic group call me up saying, can we buy this? we bought it for ourselves from your site and have found that it was a huge help for our customers.
Awesome.
Yeah.
It also
The answer
smells
is
awesome.
no.
It also smells amazing, which is really nice.
It does. Yeah, it does. The side benefit.
It is a side benefit. So a couple things from the study. Okay.
Yeah.
Double-blind, placebo-controlled.
What was the percentage reduction?
The participants who rubbed 4 grams of an ointment 3 times a day for 5 days saw 95% reduction in pain. 95%.
As opposed to, I think if I remember the study
33.
correctly, it was like 30-some% for people who just use a placebo.
Which is amazing, which means a third of it is also just...
Your mind.
Yeah, believing, which is what he was saying earlier. Comfrey's Latin name is symphytum, which we know from homeopathics. Symphytums it has a common name, herbal name, which is called knit bone.
Yeah.
So the idea is that you would use this after fractures or surgeries or after any sort of pain, joint pain, ligament damage, muscle pain, any kind of pain. Afterwards, you want to rub it on topically. And I want to stress again, the Comfrey is not designed for really internal use. So just,
no, I think people use it in teas occasionally, but it really is primarily an extra.
In high concentrations, comfrey root is hepatotoxic, so you don't want to be taking it internally.
Bad for your liver.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
anyway,
the idea.
This is the product kytta-salbe. If you have back pain, you might as well give it a try.
Yeah.
Anyway, here's to a back pain free week.
Sit happy.
Take care of yourself.